Alia Bhatt. Finally, it has happened. Sony Bhatt and Alia Bhatt in a movie together. That is part of the reason why I'm really looking forward to this. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Hrishi.
So, this has got to be special. Tell me about the first day of filming when you got on set. Were you first to arrive? Mom was first to arrive? And what were the moments like?
The first day we shot together was actually our first day in Kashmir, where she got on set before me because she had one scene without me. And then I arrived, and honestly, I was quite nervous, but for two reasons. One, I was nervous for her, and because I was hoping that she remembered her lines and she was not like, badly behaved on set. As you know, she can be a great mother, but what if she's badly behaved on set? I feel really terrible. And the other reason I was really nervous is because the scenes that we had were very emotional. So I didn't know whether we'll be able to snap out of our relaxed mom-daughter vibe and get into the emotional scenes, because sometimes that may become a bit difficult. But none of that happened. She was fabulous, super professional, remembered all her lines pat, no issue whatsoever, and the emotionality came very easily to both of us.
You're so good at this Morse code thing. In fact, there's some footage of me, of what I caught of you trying to get Vicky to guess the release date of the film, and he was hopeless at it. So much for him being an engineer. And he had a Morse code map in front of him. So that Morse code thing, is it still used in espionage, or is it just a figment of the past?
I mean, it is a figment of some kind of communication that they used to use at that time. We have no way to confirm what was the communication they used during 1970s, but that is because of security reasons and obvious reasons they were not able to this thing. But in the book there was Morse mentioned, so we went by what was written in the book, and that was a form of communication at some point, and that's something that we're very sure of.
So from start to finish, how long did it take you to learn the entire Morse code thing?
Basically, I had a couple of coordinates and a couple of messages that I needed to pass through. So what they did was they made my life simpler by already deciphering the codes, because every day we had a different decipher sheet, etc. I mean, it's a bit complicated. So basically, they already deciphered the codes for me. All I had to do was memorize it. Otherwise, what they need to do is say I have to transmit Raazi. Okay, I have to go look at the cipher sheet. Every day, all the alphabets have different meanings. So R could be A, because that depends on the cipher code. So every alphabet has a certain code, which is like a dot and a dash. So A will be 1 dot, 1 dash. E will be just a dot. Things like that. So it's quite complicated. So you have to put all these alphabets together and then transmit the information.
Listen, just coming back to the fact, I can't believe that nobody asked your mom and you to be together in a film before this, or have they asked and you all didn't accept it?
I said the same thing. I was also kind of like confused and shocked until she was actually asked to play my mom. But I guess maybe people were wondering and thinking maybe she's not into acting anymore, she doesn't work much. But I think that is not true. The reason she is not acting is because she's not getting those parts, but she's always wanted to act and she's loved acting. Yes, she did take some time off, but that was only because of me and my sister. But I think I'm really excited because I feel like her time is just beginning.
Yeah, and how good is she in the theatre, man? So I believe in Dilbaro, there's some record of you changing in and out of that bidai costume. Who said an actor's job is easy?
It's not at all easy. So there is something that we call costume continuity is something that most actors dread, because it's like you have to continuously wear that same costume maybe for a number of days. In this case, we just had to at every location do one bidai cut. It became a joke because they were traveling from Kashmir to Pakistan, and that journey is a long journey. So at every road we were saying, okay, one bidai cut, one bidai cut, one bidai cut. By the end of it, it became like we just want this costume to get over, and I had to always put mehndi on my hands every time we had to do this. So it's quite complicated. It actually became a joke. By the end of the day, we saw some mehndi girls walking around. So I said, we have to still do bidai today. And they're like, no, you don't have to do bidai. I said, okay, thank God.
You obviously have a karmic connection with Kashmir. I mean, with Highway and, your mom's connection. This time, what did you discover about Kashmir? I mean, each time you go there, they always say you discover a new facet of Kashmir.
This time I discovered that it's quite sad, the situation, because people have stopped going to Kashmir thinking that it's not safe. It's quite the contrary, because where we were actually felt some kind of safety issues was in Patiala, because of the whole Gurmeet Ram Rahim controversy and the whole curfew that took place. So it was quite ironical that in a place like Kashmir, where people believe that you're not safe, we were actually very safe. Everything was fine, but it was really heartbreaking to see that their tourism is completely dropped because of certain perception of the way the situation in Kashmir right now. So that's why everywhere I'm making it a point to actually tell people that there is no issue with Kashmir. There is no safety issue at the moment, at least, and one should go to Kashmir because it's a beautiful place.
And are you a green tea person or a kava person? How many cups of kava can you have in a day?
When I'm in Kashmir, I can have about 2-3 cups of kava a day, but that is without the sugar and just with the badam.
Hey, that performance of Air Watan on Rising Star, it happened, and how did it go? And I saw some footage of Shankar Shankar and Diljit and yourself and Monali having a great time.
It was a really lovely evening. I'm so glad that I went there and launched that track because it's one of my most favorite tracks of the film. And yes, performing with Shankar sir was a bit nerve-wracking because it's like I've like performed and stuff, but perform with him is like, okay, it's a big deal. And it's also a song that's sung by, Arijit and Sunidhi. So there's a lot of expectations to live up to. So I didn't want to mess it up. But I think the point was to sing from the heart, and I just went ahead and did that.
Your best friend visited you on the set. So how was that? And sometimes when you're doing an intense part, that just comes as such a respite, doesn't it?
No, I'm not one of those people who takes my work home, and I'm actually not one of those people who takes my work beyond the take. I don't think it's important for me to be in a gruesome mood through the day just because I'm shooting emotional scenes. I mean, it's difficult to sometimes get in and out of a crying space, but I didn't have any of that in Kashmir. So yeah, it was her birthday, and it was her 23rd birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
What's her name?
Akansha. So we spent all our birthdays together. So it was very important that I was with her, and she just dropped everything and came, and she said, I don't need to party with anyone, I'll just come and sit with you in Kashmir, it's better. So she came, and it was quite nice.
This is your school buddy, huh? Somebody you went to
school. My closest friend, like she is my soul.
How's the stick shift jonga driving going? Just curious to know, when you took a driving test with the RTO, was it with a stick shift, was it with an automatic back in the day when you did?
It was with an automatic.
So this is the first time with a stick shift.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, the jonga is not an easy car to drive. It's barely a car. It's like an amalgamation of a truck and a car and a jeep. So, and also the gears are all different. So it was really important for me to get that comfort level with the jonga ride. So I made sure before I started shoot for 1 month, every day I was circling around the Dharma Productions basement so that I could just be comfortable with that car, because a very, very important sequence happens with me in that car.
Are you driving it on an incline in the shoot? Because that's a tricky one with a stick shift or a jeep on.
It was not an incline, but it was supposed to be very fast. That was a bit difficult.
And the hand-to-hand combat, that's quite impressive, I have to say. I mean, you're kicking some serious butt, holding somebody from the back and twisting his wrist and this and that. So your fight dada on this, and what art is that? Is it Krav Maga or is it just regular hand-to-hand?
No, it was just regular defense mechanisms that we were meant to learn, and I was meant to learn as a character. So what I did was I learned them, beforehand, so that when I'm doing it, it looks a bit like fluid. But Meghna never wanted me to be like one Tomb Raider kind of Lara Croft chick, because she said, she's a feminine young girl. She doesn't have to become an action hero all of a sudden. So you just have to do the things that you've been told. And that's basically what we did. Even from learning how to hold a gun, the more of an amateur I was, the more real it would look.
So when you did the shooting stuff, does it actually have a recoil? Like, did you have a bullet recoil? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was that shot. It's there in the trailer as well, where I'm firing constantly, tuck, 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 tuck. And I remember Meghna coming and telling me, I know it's difficult, but try not to blink. I said, but how am I not supposed to blink? Like, the recoil is a bit difficult, and kind of burns your eyes. I'm not really one to hold a gun. I didn't feel very happy doing it at all.
Yeah, but you did it and you managed. Vicky's so cute about this whole thing. He's like, man, she's such a star, and but she's regular and this and that. So talk to me about him. I mean, he's such a fine actor. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. Very fine actor, very fine human being. I'm really happy that he was on this film, because I don't think I would have been able to do it without him. It's a very important character, Iqbal's character, and his journey also is a very kind of beautiful but heartbreaking journey. And we needed to make, and Meghna needed an actor who had to be like super nuanced and super fine. And that was something that we were very clear about, that we will not move ahead if we don't get the right character for it. And then in came Vicky. I'm really happy that his dates and everything worked out, because he's doing a lot of work right now. I mean, he's in super demand. He's doing Raju Rani's film as well. He's doing this. He's doing so many other films. He's also in Karan's short film. So yeah, I think it was a really good combination, and I just hope it's just the beginning.
From a trivia perspective, has your dad, Meghna's dad, and Vicky's dad ever done work together?
Apparently not. That's what we've just learned. My father's worked with so many people that I never even thought of asking him this question. But apparently not. Maybe they were waiting for us to work together.
You have memories of meeting his dad or Gulzar Saab?
No, the first time I met Gulzar Saab, I think, was on the sets of Raazi.
Meghna as a director, I mean, I saw Talwar and I was absolutely stunned to the attention to detail. Yeah. So is she like an intuitive person who says, do your thing on set, or does she give you particular pointers? Give me her direction style.
So basically you've hit it completely on the nail. Her attention to detail is so intricate and so detailed that's what makes the world come alive, according to me. From her frame, from how my dupatta is pinned, from my color of my costume to everything in the background, she's totally on point with. Her direction style is very clear. She lets the actor do what they want, but there is a process that goes into, this is what you're feeling, this is the scene, and this is what the character is feeling at this moment. What I think Meghna and I cracked was, we cracked the person. once you have the person drawn out for you, then it's just the person reacting. The minute you have Alia, reacting, that's when the problem becomes, then the problem rises, because then the character is a bit like all over the place, it jumps graphs. Here, we just found Sehmat. We found the person. So it was just like, okay, now Sehmat is alive and now Alia is alive.
Vicky said he never touched the book. He said that he just went by the screenplay. Did you like curl up with the book, with Harinder Sikka's novel, or do you also say, I'll follow the screen?
No, I read the book, but I only read the parts that were in the film, because the book is very extensive. It speaks of a lot of people's journeys within the film. On the book, you can make about like 3 different films. We have chosen just to follow this one journey. And I did read bits and pieces of the book, which is basically the script, which is the film, and different kind of version of the film.
No, I'm fascinated by war for an entirely different reason. You look at women like Sehmat, women like Mata Hari, they were spies. Their lives were on the line. And while doing this film, were you conscious of that? I mean, the fact that India and Pakistan have this past together, been at war a couple of occasions. Historically, how much cued in are you now post Raazi?
I'm someone who believes less is more. I didn't really go out and research too many spy stories, different spy stories, because I feel like that would just clutter my head. But yeah, I'm aware of the futility of war, of the sheer unfairness of it, and the sheer unfairness of the unsung heroes. That's what I really got into after doing a film like Raazi.
Your future's so bright, you have to wear shades now. I mean, there's Gully Boy with Zoya and Ranveer, there's Brahmastra with Ranbir and Ayan, there's Kalank with your dear friend Abhishek Varman and Varun. What's been the most difficult so far in terms of the part, to sink your teeth into the part?
I feel like every film I do feels difficult. Gully Boy was a complete blast. I loved that film and I loved playing that character, and I think Ranveer is going to be outstanding in it. Brahmastra is very difficult only for one reason, that is because of how ambitious it is. I think Ranbir and I are genuinely just like Ayan's puppets right now, because he is the creator and he's really in charge of this universe at this moment, and it's all him. So we just have to kind of do as we're told in this section. Kalank is a very difficult film. That's what I'm finding very difficult right now. I'm shooting it right now as we speak, and it's difficult because it's a very layered film, and when you have so many layers to kind of pull off, it becomes a bit kind of scary.
That's those Make My Trip commercials are just so cool. I mean, it's almost as though y'all are having a repartee live. Yeah. Were those lines scripted, or some of them were improvised upon?
No, it's all scripted, and these ads are directed by my friend Shakun. We had a lot of fun, because I think me and Ranveer really look forward to shooting Make My Trip together, because number one, he always turns around behaving like this weird kind of character, and I'm always like this girl who's tokoing him or whatever. But it's a lot of fun because we really get to kind of come out of our characters and be a little mad.
And Rajit Kapoor, what an actor, man. I mean, he's another guy I've seen in the theatre and I've said, wow, he plays your dad in this one. Yeah. So you obviously feed off the energy of these fine people. You give a look, you get another one back.
He is fantastic in the film, I have to say. I've seen the film and he has made such an impact. And he, as you rightfully said, it's always amazing to work with people who just can enhance your performance by just one look and just their presence. And Rajit sir did that, my mom did that, Vicky did that. Even Jaideep Alawat, who is playing my mentor Mir in the film, he is also fantastic.
If you were given an option to spy on somebody, who would that person be? If you in real life had to spy on somebody, because spying is in some way voyeuristic, some way very dangerous. Just a hypothetical question. Like I asked Meghna this and she said Elvis Presley, which is so cool.
I don't know, maybe someone like who I'm like super inspired by, like Beyonce, or someone who I'm not super inspired by, like Donald Trump.
To find out what to do right and what to do wrong.
Yeah, just like what is happening, can I expose something that he's doing?
Sehmat is obviously going through a hell of a lot. Yeah. Just describe what Sehmat is going through. What is the basis of Alia playing Sehmat?
The basis of it is, I don't know, what the basis of it is, but it's not even half of what must have actually happened in reality. So every time I would play that part, or every time we were doing a scene, I would always imagine that, listen, I'm doing a scene. This actually happened. That the sheer reality of it is a bit like gives me goosebumps every time I think of it.
So she's a spy and she's married into an army family and she signed up for this, right?
Yeah, she signed up for it. And more than anything, she was given a choice, but I don't even think she was given a choice, if you know what I mean. It's just something that you have to do.
Alia, we love you. Thank you for this chat.
Thank you so much.